has definitely been a roller coaster. So I don't think we could have anticipated what the year was going to look like. We thought we were, had this huge moment last year when we were locked down and we were all like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And
She admits at the time she was not versed in virtual teaching.
it's been very challenging and very trying. I think for myself personally and a few of my colleagues, my team partners that I teach with, a silver lining for us when we first shut down in the spring of last year, I wasn't really one with technology, but with my teaching style and how I like to be creative and interactive with my students, I knew that posting worksheets on Google Classroom wasn't going to do it, wasn't going to motivate my students. So I spent countless hours upon hours, and I spent my whole summer taking courses, learning about different types of technical projects, ways to do interactive, everything in the virtual sense, because I had a feeling that we would maybe go down that road again. And so for that, putting all that extra work really came in handy when we were locked down again in January.
Heading back to school in September to set up her classroom, with appropriately spaced desks and independent material bins for each student, she had an emotional reaction.
Sadness, actually, was how I felt in September. And I remember sending pictures to some of my family members saying, look at my bare classroom. Usually in my classroom, I have twinkle lights, I've got lamps. Last year, before we were shut down, each of my table groups had a potted plant, and that was their responsibility to keep it alive. They took it home on the weekends. They made names for it. I like to create an environment in my classroom very similar to home, because I get to spend 6.5 hours a day with other people's children, and it has to be a safe, inviting environment.
Neal says not being able to teach the way she wants to has been the hardest.
So it's great that I can do all these technology-based assignments and lessons, but my teaching style is, I put a math question on the board, and then I divide the kids into groups, and they get chart paper, and it's like, how can we answer this question in as many different ways as we can? That deep conversation that can come from something so simple as just working with each other. I can't do that right now. So I find that really, really frustrating, and I find I've really had to change my teaching style to still continue to motivate and encourage and, bring the joy of learning to my students. But I want to get back where I'm not wearing a shield and a mask and gloves. That doesn't create for me, a safe environment for my students. It's saying, we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful of each other. And that just goes against so much of what I believe we are as human beings. Yeah, I want that to be gone. I want to to get vaccinated, and I want to go back to normal. I want it so badly.
The constant teacher, she has a message for the community.
We all need to continue to remember to be kind to one another. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher or you're a frontline worker or you're any job that you're doing right now. We are so all in this together, and kindness goes a long way. Nobody asked for a pandemic, so we're in it, and how can we get through it together?
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.